She's waiting. She knows I'm going outside. Hi, it's Robbie from Southern California. I'm going to do something you're probably not even interested in, but I'm going to set this up for the hummingbirds. It's set up fine, but it's gone through a lot. See, it is in one of those dish pans that you get for $2.80 something cents at Walmart that I absolutely love. It's growing marigolds in there. Got a little bit of lettuce growing in there, and then I just put some pots in there to layer as I'm propagating them, other plants. But the thing is, this holds up this canopy for the hummingbirds, and then I put the feeder in the middle. All is good, but I don't have any irrigation tubing for stability. So it's kind of like, let me see if I can back you up. See, if you grab it, it's like all over the place. Now, that's because this past winter, it has gone over, it has fallen over, it has blown with some of the bad storms, so it got knocked around, and I just had it stuck in here. I'm going to get some irrigation tubing. I'm going to put it in each corner. I'm going to stabilize it better. And I've got another one of those cheap flags from the 99-cent store I got years ago. I'm going to cover it up again, and this will give more shade for the summer and, on hot days, any day. And also it does shelter some of the water. So let's get this done so the hummingbirds and the orioles can enjoy this. And it'll be a little bit more stable. I've got my power unit plugged in, my soldering iron ready to go, and I'm going to put 4 corners in here of the irrigation tubing, which is 1/2 inch. It's so cheap, I use it for everything. So here you're going to see how I put this together. I'm taking the scissors, I'm kind of measuring, roughing it, how much I need. So I saw how much I had to cut. And let me give you a hint on this. It's easier to cut if you leave it out in the sun for about 15 minutes. But it cuts really good with the scissors. I use it all over. Now I've got 4 pieces randomly cut around the same size. And I'm going to push away the soil from the corner of my dish pan. So this way it won't be full of soil. It doesn't matter if it gets some in there, but basically it's going to be empty. And I want it empty so I can put the tomato stake in there. Now I'm propping them up in the corner, and I'm moving my tomato stakes over so I know exactly where I want to do it. And I'm just kind of digging away the soil, or actually pushing it over. I'm not really wanting to disturb my flowers that are growing in there, but I'm going to stick an irrigation tubing, a cut one, in each corner. And that's what I'm doing now. And I use spoons all the time. You can get spoons at the 99-cent store, Dollar Tree. Best utensil to use in the garden. So much of that stuff you can get at Dollar Tree. Now here I'm using a hot soldering iron, which is in my power bank. Now you can plug it in the house and go run outside with it because it stays hot for about 5 minutes. You can get everything done, but I use my power unit for that. I've got 3 of those. I love them. I bought that on Walmart too. And it's great for emergencies. When you have no power in the middle of the night, you plug in a lamp. So here I'm making 2 holes on each corner. Now I'm just simply putting a zip tie through, and I'm going to tighten it up on the inside, but you could do it inside, outside, it doesn't matter. I'm putting back my irrigation tubing that I cut, and I'm putting in the long zip tie. And that's all there is to it. Now you just tighten it up. If you feel you want to use 2, go ahead and use 2. Today I'm going to use 1 because it's stable enough. I have found that I don't need 2. And you can use wire or any method you want to tie it in. This will hold the tubing, and once it settles into the soil, it kind of stays put anyways. But I do like using a zip tie. Now you just tighten it. We're basically done with this. I mean, that's all I had to do. I love this. I use it all over the garden for putting stakes in. It really stabilizes it because you can put a stake in soil, it's going to move around. But when you anchor that irrigation tubing in, you can put the stake in any way you want. And there it is. Now all I have to do is put the 4 corners into the irrigation tubing that I cut and now anchored in with a zip tie. Now it's not going to go anywhere. I should have put it in last time, but I didn't. I just didn't bother. Now here I'm taking it down. I'm putting on a new flag. I'm not going to remove the old one. I'm not getting fancy. The old one's faded and kind of blowing around, and that's fine. It's not torn. So I'm just going to put another one on since I have it. And of course, Zoe's out there watching and inspecting everything. And I use the metal paper fasteners you get from Dollar Tree or any place. They last forever. Better than using a clothespin because a clothespin will rot out. Even Jack came out. He can't see, remember, he's basically blind, but he came out to see what was going on. Now, when you use the metal paper binder clips, like I said, you can just move them later on. You take this apart, they last forever. They don't break down like plastic clothespins or even wooden ones. That's it. And the dish pan is fairly light to move around. Now it's all set up and it's ready to go. And all I have to do is, well, I got to get a hummingbird feeder back up on there. I just have yarn, multiple strings of yarn in the center from end to end. And that's what's holding my hummingbird feeder since last year. And you can do it any other way you want if you want to stabilize it better. Now I'm just kind of looking it over and seeing any place I want to put some more paper fasteners. So it's on there good. It really is great. It gives the birds so much security that nothing's going to fly above them and get them. They're sheltered from the sun. They're sheltered from the rain. It's kind of like just I think they just really like it. It's a sense of security, like darting into a plant. And now I know they're out there waiting. See, they're zipping around the hummingbirds. They love this feeder. They've got, what, 24 other feeders all over the deck, but they like this one. And that's all there is to it. The hooded oriole came, but as soon as he saw me, he took off. They're a little shy still. Okay, so it's all done now. And the hummingbirds have been enjoying it. You can see I left the old flag. It was easier. It was a quick job. And this has been working fantastic. I've had this up now for a couple years. Now these are tomato stakes, and as you know, I put in each corner a piece of irrigation tubing. You know how I use that all over the garden. You can put 2 zip ties, you can use wire if you want, but I just stuck in 1 tubing that I cut. You saw me cut it. I moved the soil over, and that's all there is to it. Now it's really stable. It's not going anywhere. And on the top, I have both. I've got tomato stakes there and irrigation tubing going across. So I kind of built my own gazebo out of it, and it works fantastic. And it does keep the sun from the birds, you know, away. Let me zoom back. So they're in the shade a little bit, so the food isn't, look at this, literally what, 6 inches from me? The food is not out in the sun. It gives them a little protection from, let's say, hawks or predators flying above. When it rains lightly, it doesn't bother the food either, and they can come feed, you know, just in comfort. It's all around kind of like a shelter, kind of like when they go into plants and they fly around and they want to be under shelter. I mean, look at this bird. I put the camera right up to him. So they love it. In the meantime, I've got a real pretty setup. I've got this container, and you know how I grow everything. I've grown zucchini in here and tomatoes. I've got that set up with my marigolds from last year. These are the seedlings that have been coming up, and I moved them in here. Aren't they beautiful? I've got some lettuce starting in an old soda bottle in there, but I'm probably going to move them. There's too many in there. This is a cutting of a type of plant. I can't remember. It's a wild plant, and I grabbed some cuttings a while back. So they're in here, and it's kind of a layering effect. And there it is. It's just sitting on an old wooden table I picked up from the thrift store with a tote lid. Kind of for looks is what the tote lid is there for. And it works fantastic, and they're happy, and I'm happy, and that's all there is to it. I hope I've given you some ideas with some old garden flags that I picked up at the dollar store. You can use old fabric, old curtains, a tablecloth, whatever you want. And then these are just simply paper fasteners. You get them at the dollar stores. Sometimes I remember to put the clips down. It looks neater. And then this way you can take it off at any time, change it up. There's no waste. Those metal paper clips last forever. So I hope I have given you some ideas. I hope you have a wonderful day. And don't forget to eat what you grow. Boy, I still wish I could grow sugar. Isn't that something? Bye-bye, everybody.